write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the dirt, but still, like air, I'll rise. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. The Collected Poems by Maya Angelou, 1994. In a world where obstacles, setbacks, and limitations often threaten to hold us back, the concept of rising above the odds requires unwavering resolve and faith in God. It also necessitates the need for courage, fortitude, and the audacity to turn adversities into opportunities. Whenever we're able to truly achieve this, then and only then are we able to live a truly transformational life. I am Akeelia Thompson. Welcome to Sold into Purpose. Everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sold into Purpose. I am your lovely host, Akeelia Thompson. Join us this and every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. And of course, tag a friend, share with someone, and let them know that Sold into Purpose is live. As always, we encourage you to interact with us in the comment section and let us know what's good. Let us know what you're sipping on, and please do not leave your teacups or coffee cups, because here on Sold into Purpose, we'll take a sip together. Welcome. This is the episode, or the lovely podcast, where we'll take you into the heart and soul of personal growth, providing you with practical insight, giving you heartfelt stories, as well as actionable steps that you can take to get sold into purpose. So, if you are just curious, you're on your journey, or you just want to know what Sold into Purpose is all about, have no fear. Just join us this and every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. Please, in order to stay connected with us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is at Akeelia Thompson, Akeelia Thompson, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Sold into Purpose. That is SOULED into Purpose. But guess what? Have no fear, because we have a wonderful story lined up for you. And today we're unlocking purpose with the wonderful Miss Sanshegay Peart, who will take us on a journey of purpose. What odds? Yet still I rise. But before we get into that soul story, let's make a quick stop over the SIP feature. I'm Akeelia Thompson. Welcome to Sold into Purpose. Hi there, how are you? And just in case you're wondering, you're at the right spot. You are watching the Sold into Purpose podcast, and I am your host, Akeelia Thompson. This morning on the SIP feature, can you guess what I'm having? Well, this morning I am having the Kendall Instant Ginger Tea. What are you having? Let us know in the comment sections. As per usual, we invite you to grab your teacups or your coffee cups and you've guessed it, take a sip with us each and every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. Okay, but while we take a sip, you know that we cannot do anything without the one who gave us our skills, capabilities to launch into purpose. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, in the midst of life challenges and the odds that surround us, we humbly seek your guidance to navigate our path. Grant us the strength to unlock our purpose even when the path seems uncertain and the obstacles appear to be insurmountable. Help us to rise above adversity with unwavering faith and determination. Let us see the opportunities and the challenges that we face along the way, and help us, Lord, with the wisdom to overcome them and to use them as a stepping stone to move towards purpose. In moments of doubt, remind us of our inner strength and the skills and capabilities that you have blessed us with. With your grace, may we navigate the odds and help us to unlock purpose that lies within us while we aim to make a positive impact on the world. These and other unmentioned mercies I ask of you, Lord. Amen and amen. Stick around and stay with us, because up next we are stepping right into the purpose zone. Don't touch that dial. Welcome. You're stepping into the purpose zone. This is a special segment in our podcast where we take 5 minutes to take you on a journey where we pause, absorb, and of course connect with the knowledge that we need to propel us to the next level in acquiring our purpose. Overall, we're looking at the theme, purpose, what odds? Yet still I rise. So it is only befitting that we look at this morning, rising above the odds. So this morning, I want to tell you a little story that comes to us from the Bible. And this is about a wonderful man called Job, who was upright in the eyes of men and God. So one day Satan took a little stroll among the heavenlies, and he spoke to God and he said, God, I see this man on earth, his name is Job, and guess what? I believe that he only serves you because you blessed him with good things. Because Job was a very wealthy man in livestock, in his family, in riches, in everything. He was just that man, the top man at that time, all right? And the Lord said, you really think so? I will give you permission, Satan, to remove every single thing that he has. Because Satan thought that when he removed everything that Job had, that Job will ultimately curse God. So God says, okay, let me make a deal. After all, I'm the bigger man here. You can remove everything from him, but guess what? You cannot kill him in the process. And I'm highlighting that story. Of course, it occurs, I should say, in the book of Job in the Bible. But there's something that I want you to take note of. When the calamity reached Job, in Job 1 verse 20, it says that Job arose and he rent his mantle. He shaved his head, he fell down on the ground, and he worshipped the Lord. And this was definitely a very hard experience for Job to go through. And of course, the odds would have been great because he lost everything, including those who used to come and sit at his table. But in everything, he knelt down, bowed his head, and he worshipped. And the book of Job speaks to a story that covers unwavering faith. And it also speaks to immense suffering as well as ultimate restoration. So it truly gives us the impression and the fact that we can note that even in the midst of our adversity and after going through that particular period, there is something for us to look forward to. Life is a journey that is filled with twists and turns, and along the way we often encounter obstacles and challenges that seem insurmountable. However, these odds can take us through many different forms, and this can take the shape of personal setbacks, financial setbacks, the pressure of societal expectations on us, or even health issues. And whenever these things happen, it's easy for us to just just to tell you, okay, get up and get over these challenges. Yet, time and time again, we would have seen persons who rose from these circumstances. And we cannot do this without the help of the Almighty. And therefore, it is important for us to push forward with determination, but also extend our faith so that we're able to push through some of the most darkest times in our lives. The human spirit is a remarkable force. It has the ability to endure pain, overcome adversity, and find strength even in the darkest times. When confronted with adversity, many people tap into their inner reserves, summoning the courage to rise above their circumstances. One of the most remarkable things about the human spirit is that it is resilient. We have an innate capacity to bounce back from setbacks, to learn from our failures, and to grow and become even stronger than we were before. When faced with challenges, it is our resilience that will help us to overcome these adversities, and we should always seek some way to change these adversities into opportunities. When we do that, we are able to seek victory, and of course, we're able to see a better future where we can achieve even more. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that don't work." So if at first you don't succeed, we know the gem. Try and try and try again. It is Edison's determination that led him to invent the electric light bulb despite numerous setbacks. His story definitely illustrates the power of perseverance in the midst of adversity. Consequently, rising above the odds requires determination, believing in yourself, and reframing your mindset to move forward in order for you to tap into opportunities for growth. To overcome the odds and rise above adversity, one must first acknowledge and challenge what you face. Yes, acknowledge it, and of course, find a strategy to challenge whatever you are facing. Next, set clear and achievable goals. It is now your time to create a roadmap that will ultimately lead you to success. Create and, of course, spend time to invest in a resilient mindset. It is also important for you to stay positive and maybe seek company, seek mentors, hang around friends or persons who can provide you with the level of support that you need in that period of overcoming your odds. Of course, listen to materials that will encourage you and seek in every way, shape, or form to foster positivity around you. Also, you may continuously learn and adapt in the various scenarios that will help you to overcome and rise above the odds. The idea of rising above the odds is a beacon of hope and a reminder that no matter the circumstances, we possess the inner strength to transcend all limitations and emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It is a concept that urges us to embrace our own narratives of triumphs and to stand tall in the face of adversity and to forge our own destinies with unwavering determination and unyielding spirit. That is how you can rise above the odds. Welcome to another soul story. Here, this is where we share heartfelt stories to help you unlock your purpose. This morning, we have a wonderful young lady with us who is full of vibes, full of flair, and of course, has a story about rising above the odds. Today, we are joined by a truly inspirational guest, Miss Sanshegay Peart. Her journey is nothing short of remarkable. Despite facing challenges in her early childhood stages and her inability to really attend primary school and basic school, guess what? She rose above the odds to become a graduate of the prestigious University of Technology, Jamaica, where she earned her degree in human resource and marketing. Not only does Sanshegay have an inspiring academic and professional journey, but she has also triumphed over her personal challenges, such as living with osteogenesis imperfecta. Her story is indeed a testimony of perseverance, resilience, and the power of determination to rise above the odds. Let us dive into her incredible journey of purpose. What odds? Yet still I rise. Please, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section, please let us welcome Miss Sanshegay Peart to Sold into Purpose. Welcome back to Soul into Purpose. Today we're here to share another soul story. Today we have a wonderful, beautiful, I would say full of life young lady who is here to share her story. Today we're looking at the theme, purpose, what odds, yet still I rise. We have the wonderful Miss Sanshegay Peart with us. And Miss Peart, welcome to Soul into Purpose. This is our second episode and we're so happy to have you. How are you?
I'm fine, and thank you so much for inviting me. I didn't expect to be invited this soon, but I'm happy to be here.
Don't worry, man. When we have the inspirational stories, we have to pull for them. So the last time we met, in somewhat of a similar fashion, we had a live stream on depression, and we shared that with Mr. Craig McNally, who is a psychologist at UTech. So I just want to piggyback on there. And I have a quote for you today, and it says, "Your mind is a true enemy if you don't control it." So if you don't control your mind, it will control you. What are your thoughts on that?
That is true. How you think, the things you think, and how you what's the word? How you describe yourself is a true definition of your thoughts. So if you say things like, "I am nothing," that is exactly what you will feel. So I'm in agreement with the quote.
Awesome, awesome. And in our previous episode, we looked on purpose and pivoting. And our guest then, he shared with us that purpose is a journey. And he also noted that the destination of purpose is death. But I realized that we didn't really establish the beginning of purpose. And so I want to just piggyback on that a little bit and see if we can set that foundation today. So based on my belief, I would say that purpose has to do with your mind, as you rightfully mentioned just now, the beliefs about yourselves and the various impacts that are within your environment or different factors that will impact you in your environment. What would you say purpose is, the initial stages of purpose?
So purpose is what you think you need to do in order to live a life that is pleasing to you and whoever you serve, because we all serve different people. So purpose is what you think you need to do to live a better life towards yourself and improving yourself in an everyday situation.
And going back to the little Miss Peart, just tell us a little bit about your journey, because you shared in an article that you did not commence walking until around 12-year-old, thereabouts, and you came up with a diagnosis. I just wanted to tell our listeners and our viewers what that journey was like, and tell us a little bit about that diagnosis.
Alright, so for the diagnosis, it's called osteogenesis imperfecta. Let me say it again, because I know when I say it these days, a lot of persons look at me like, what did you just say? So let me slow it down so you all can hear what I'm saying. It's called osteogenesis imperfecta. And basically what that means is that your bone lacks collagen. And collagen is what gives the bone the strength, which means you break easily. It is a genetic disease, means you are born with it, and it can be hereditary depending on who your parent is and if they have it or they're a gene carrier. For me, I found out when I was my mother, not me, found out when I was about 6 months, I think. That's probably also when I got my first break. And ever since, it has been a whirlwind of information coming and going. back when we just found out about it, it wasn't something that was prevalent, so it wasn't a lot of information available. And so my mother had to learn to live through it, in terms of she was teaching herself a lot of things, including the fact that after a certain age I wasn't able to walk due to how many broken bones I've had and all the correctional surgeries. Some were good, some were bad. And so I was unable to walk for 7 years until I was about 12. And then I just kept on walking, to say the least.
You kept on walking into purpose and
kept walking into purpose.
So, as you rightfully mentioned, the condition is osteogenesis imperfecta, which is a genetic condition, as you rightfully mentioned. And this, of course, would have impacted your socialization as well as your attendance to school. So, can you share a little bit about what that phase was like in terms of navigating that space at that time?
So, for me, school didn't start until I was in my late teens, clearly after I started walking. Before that, I was in and out of the Bustamante Hospital, so I didn't attend school much. And whenever I did, it was short spurts at that time. So I'd be there for maybe a month or two before I had to go back to Bustamante. In grade 6, when I did the last corrective surgery to have me walk again, was when I started going to school. So I started going to school full time in grade 6, did my GSAT on a crutch. Girl passed, thank God for that. Did my GSAT on a crutch, and then I went to Magati High School, and that is where most of my school years became well known. That is where I did all the stuff that I felt I needed to be involved in, so debate, speech, drama. That's all where it happened for me. Making friends outside of a hospital bed, that's where it all took place. So it wasn't a bad journey, but I also didn't enjoy the younger years. But I'm still grateful for the time I got.
Most definitely, most definitely. So for those who are just joining us, we're talking about a condition that essentially refers to the breaking of your bones. But Sanshegay, if your bones were broken back then, but your resilience was not, and in my estimation, in terms of meeting you and knowing you, you are someone who is very resilient. So tell us about that level of resilience, where it came from. In different stories you would have shared about your mom, if you wish to share on that, how did she help you to build that up? Or do you believe that you got that level of resilience from her?
To some extent, yes. I did get some of it from her. Not all of it. Which is truthfully, because some you will have to learn on your own. So we have to be truthful about those things. So I did get some of my resilience from her. I did learn to manage life on my own. She was very instrumental in teaching me how to be able to manage life on my own if she's not present. And so that kind of created an environment for me to learn to become resilient, for me to learn to do things on my own. How would I survive? And it has led me to a beautiful path, I must say. So I have to congratulate her for that part. But in terms of resilience, it's a thing as you grow and as you go through these stages, these many breaks, these many surgeries, you will develop a habit of learning how to become your best self in whatever situation it is. And that's where you get the resilience from.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You shared in an article that you are at the door. I'm just creating a picture for our viewers and our listeners here. You're entering your graduation, right? And you're on your crutches. You hand them to your mom, and you said, "Mommy, I'm not going to take this up back again. I'm going to walk." And you said that she was surprised and possibly would have felt a lot of emotions in that moment. But before I even ask you about your experience, what was it like walking down or marching down for that graduation? I want you to share a little bit with our viewers about letting go. We'll explore it a little bit later, but some persons, they go through different challenges and different odds. They've passed it, they've got the victory, they've risen over it, but the letting go aspect of it, you were resilient in your mind and in your will to say, I am letting this go. Share with people how important that process is, letting go of the odds, whatever they are.
So there comes a point in everyone's life where you have to decide, If the situation you're in is a situation you want to be in long term, is this where you want to be for the rest of your days, or do you see more for yourself? Once you have made that decision, then you will find that if you ask God to or if you not even say ask, if you invite God in and tell him, this is what I want, this is where I want to go, you would be surprised where he will take you. But first, you have to decide, say, this is really where I want to go, this is not where I want to stay. And then slowly you will find that you will have the courage and the strength and the support to slowly let go of what is and look forward to what is to come.
Most definitely, most definitely. And we also want to look at, before I even get into the next question, tell us about walking down for graduation. How was that?
It was good. It was a bit of emotion for everybody who was present, and for those who knew the story and knew that I was just learning to walk, so I was still on crutches. And after not walking for I think 78 years, it was a challenge to learn to walk again, because then you had to do physiotherapy, and if you have ever been through anything with physiotherapy, you know it is way worse than anything else you can imagine. So the decision to actually want to be like everyone else was what led me to say, hey, maybe I can do this without the crutches. It would take some time, clearly, because I'm just learning to walk. But I also had support of friends and family, and it was really nice. It was funny. It was a lot of emotions, very high. The crowd was going, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because I was able to do it. So I enjoyed everything.
You mentioned about family and friends, but just stick up in on that. So we'll touch it a little bit, because we want to talk about community when we're going through our different stages. But going through the arts, it is challenging, and you will experience a range of emotions. Do you think changing one's mindset, or as best as you possibly can, thinking positively about the situation, helps you to go through the process a little bit easier? How instrumental is one's thoughts, your thought process in going through what you're going through?
So I have two things to comment, or two things to say when it comes to your being positive and your train of thoughts and stuff like that. We live in a very negative world. There's no going around that. We live in a negative world, and so negativity will creep in from time to time. So my advice, or what I have done, let's not even call it an advice, what I've done over the years is learn to accept the negative, but also not dwell in it. So I'll accept that I'm feeling negative, or I'm feeling some kind of funny way about whatever situation I'm in, but I'm also learning that there's going to be a positive end to it. So I just need to look forward to the positive end. Again, the things you feed into your mind, the things you feed into your body will determine how you feel in terms of positivity. So if you're listening to things that are very bad for your emotions, or songs that are playing about being sad and stuff like that, you'll find that you live in that zone longer than you need to.
Absolutely, absolutely. You shared something that, wow, when I read it, it really took me into a space, and I'm going to read it back to you. You said, I always thought I did not match up to the standards society dictated for us. It took a period of adjustment for me to accept that this is the way I am, and that I'm never going to change. And that really, that rattled me a bit, because here we are going through our different challenges, but still we have the weight of societal norms, and as you said, we live in a negative world. And for me, it is important for us to be aware of the seeds that we sow in our lives at an earlier stage, because at the end of this process, it will yield a fruit, and the fruit that it yields is not necessarily something that would be good for us. What are your thoughts about what we feed ourselves and where we pull things from in determining our identity, our beliefs, and just our whole determination process?
It has to do with the surroundings, most importantly. It's the people you are around, it's the type of things that you engage in, and it's the type of books, music you listen to. if you can find things to engage in that is beneficial to your mind and your thought process, that is where you will have a better understanding of things. But biggest of all is that you have to accept what it is. Whatever situation you are in, you have to accept that this is who I am, this is where I am, this is not where I want to be. So don't ever think that this is the final stage, but you have to accept you for who you are and where you are in life in order to make the next step or to take the next step. And again, what you feed your mind and body is very important.
Awesome. So, Sanshegay, I cannot let you go further into the interview without one, giving us a little backstory about your name, because I know a lot of persons trip on it, and also tell us about your bubbly personality.
Alright, so the name, oh my gosh, the name is it's a fight every time someone asks me, because reality is the name came from my mother, who I don't think she was thinking too much into it, except that there was this young lady in the district who had the name Sansha by Rue, and my mother liked the name Sansha. So she went with it to say she liked the name, she liked how it sounded and everything. But when I was being registered, and back in the days, don't want to say my age, not that I'm hiding it, but back in the day, when you were registered, is someone who came to the house, wrote down the baby's name and stuff, and then took the card to RGD. Now, when he was writing the name, he spelled it incorrectly. So the name my mother wants would have been Sansha, but he spelled it Sanshegay. So it ended up being Sanshegay, and I've been using the name all along for many years as Sanshi, the hyphen J. Only to find out in high school that there's no hyphen in the name. So it's actually one word. It's actually Sanshegay. To my surprise, because by this I had documentation saying Sanshi hyphen Gay. So I had to change stuff up, but it's a name that I've grown to love. I like it everywhere I go. People ask me, where does the name come from? How is it spelled? Is it pronounced as how it is? So I've gotten fond of it.
Awesome.
As it relates to the personality, oh Lord, I think it's life. Life teaches you things, and the more you go through, the more you learn about yourself, the more you find yourself, and the more you find what you're comfortable. For me, it's being positive and upbeat, whatever the situation is. So I've been trying to do that till it has now become a part of who I am. So I'm always bubbly, I'm always upbeat and out there. Half the time, I'm not even thinking that I'm doing it. It's just a part of me now.
Absolutely, and being a source of inspiration for those around you.
Yeah, not my doing again. Let me tell you, I don't want anybody to think that this is what I've set out to do. It just happens that way, and I think again it's because of who I am. It's how I see life and the things that I do to get around in my everyday life. People find it amusing. I was explaining to someone the other day that, well, I get admiration for living, while in my head, all I'm doing is living.
Just being you.
But those around me, see that as, oh, I'm being on, I'm being all over. I'm like, no, I'm just living.
Awesome. So, thank you for sharing that with us. I love you. I know there are many persons out there who love you just as you are, and it's always an experience and a vibe just having you around. You are filled with life and you encourage us. Let me tell you, you definitely encourage us to be the same way and even live more. Because you go out a lot, and I don't want to tell the people all the business, but you go out a you eat food and niceness. But I met you at UTech, and to be honest with you, I was very surprised because I thought that you would be shy and quiet and timid, but you were full of life. On almost every committee and executive for clubs and societies, UTech ambassador, working in our faculty. You've done a lot. Being on your seminar committees. Tell us about that experience.
I don't think I've done a lot. I've tried to be involved as much as possible. I think there's a lot more I could be involved in, but time will help. So for me and my UTech years, I thoroughly enjoyed. But let me explain something. for my first 2 years so I did 4.5 years with UTech. For the first 2 years, I was never involved. All I did was go to school and go home. That was it. Until I started making friends in my class, and then my friends started finding out that, oh, there's more to you than just you coming here and sitting in this class. And so I was pulled into various activities, and that led to me being involved in UTech's life way more than I had originally planned, to be honest. I just planned to go to school, get the degree, and come out.
Absolutely. Well, we saw you on everything. So you could literally fool anyone. And it was a great experience just seeing you moving around, being so engaged in interfaculty competitions and stuff like that. It's really, really inspirational. And I know that you would have set out some goals in terms of accomplishing your purpose. And before we even tap into your goals, at any point in time, even though you share that you're just doing you and you don't want persons to really take you on from that aspect, but at any point in time did you sit down with yourself and say, hey, this is what I want to achieve, and this is how I'm going to ultimately rise above the odds and achieve this particular purpose for my life?
Of course, I think at some point we all do that. It doesn't matter how small, but with me, I think what I've learned to do is, even though I have goals and I have dreams and aspirations, I learn to take it in strides. And I learn to enjoy the whatever moment I am in. So yes, I have goals, I have plans, I have places I want to be, but at the same time, I need to enjoy where I am now in life. So yeah, I planned and I put in the work to be here, but I also need to enjoy being here. As it relates to plans, girl, we all have 5-year, 10-year plans. Mine never yet aligned how I want them to, but thank God for that they align in the time that they need to. So it's grateful for that.
Awesome, because all things work together for our good. Life, right? As you mentioned, you set out the goals, but things may not happen how you want them to occur within that time. But whenever God organizes it, it's always the right time. For persons who go through different odds, it could be a disease, it could be financial, relationship-wise, whatever the situation is. Some persons use these things as crutches, because remember we're talking about letting it go earlier. Some persons, so they hold up the crutches, they hold up the handbag, and they walk around with it either to the side or on their head, and it weighs them down. They believe that a part of not achieving purpose is that persons create excuses as opposed to sitting down, planning, and creating a strategy. They rather sit in the excuses and hold on to the odds because it feels comfortable.
I remember earlier when we were talking about letting go, I said that you need to learn to accept where you are and what you're going through, and then decide where you want to go. That is the whole situation that you just explained. You can be in the worst of situation. It doesn't really matter how bad you think it is. There's always better somewhere. But you have to be willing to work towards getting to that other end. And I find these days, even though I've always heard it, I find that when you put in the work to get to that other end, you would be surprised how many individuals are willing to help you to get to that end. But you have to be the one to say, I want to go there, because they're not just going to come and say, let us take you to this. You have to be willing to put in the work. And a part of putting in the work is understanding that this is my situation, but it's not my final destination. So at some point I will have to let it go. I will have to put the crutches down and try walking. You never know if it's going to work for you.
This is my situation, but it is not my final
destination. Right.
Oh, I hope somebody is hearing this. And you mentioned rising. The rising process, there are different steps. So we're acknowledging the odds, making a conscious decision to say, hey, I'm not going to stay there. So you have to get up and do the work now, because faith without works is dead.
It's dead.
Not going to come down and move you. For you, you got to get moving, and then people will come and help you. And a part of that process, the people, is the community and the family support that surrounds you. Do you believe that this helps to make the journey somewhat easier? And what was your experience like in terms of support?
Let me say, I think if anybody follows me on Facebook, you've seen the post I made when I graduated from UTech about how I ended up at UTech. And so let me give you a little quick backstory. I left high school with 4 subjects, 4 CXC. My mother was thoroughly upset because she said, girl, got school and you only come out with 4 CXC? Like, come on. But I got a job babysitting for my aunt, and I used that money to go back to school. And in doing that, I gained 4 more. So I now have 8. And not getting that 8, I stopped there for a while because it's like, oh, me have 8 CXC, I'm all right to know. But getting a job was very difficult. So I went back to Stony Hill Heart Academy, and I did that for a year. Came out, wasn't able to get a job, and then I got frustrated and disappointed. So again, I threw in the towel because it's like, me have CXC, me got hard, and me still can't get no work, me not go no further. And then I babysitted for my aunt for a while until I realized it's okay, but it's not where I want to go. So I got a job working in a bar. If you're from Jamaica, you're familiar with a bar in the countryside. And one night, while working there, a gentleman drank himself to oblivion until he defecated on himself in there. Now imagine my little surprise when me realized that me have to get out this very big old man out of the bar in order to clean up the place and close up and go home. I knew right then and there was no way this is where I wanted to be. So the next day, I took time off and I went to Kingston. I didn't know where UTech was at the time, so I called my cousin and I said, hey, I'm in halfway through and I need to get to UTech. What do I do? She said, stay there, she's coming. And went to UTech, I applied and I went home. I never heard from UTech for a couple of months, and then finally I got in and all of that. I say that to say, like I said earlier, the choice is yours. You're going to decide if this is where you want to be. And the situation that you're in is also going to help you to make the push. Now, when I transitioned from living every day to going to school, I had no idea how I was going to do it. But the mere fact that I got up and I made effort, those around me saw that I made an effort and offered. So I didn't have to ask. And offer, hey, I understand you're going back to school and I want to help you. What do you need?
Wow.
So that's then if you put the work in and those around you see that, they'll help. My aunt offered to help and she has done a wonderful job. I cannot lie. She helped me through it all. And as I went, I gathered friends like yourself and others who were there to encourage me. So when the times got tough, when the frustration kicked in, I always had somebody there to say, hey, look how far you have come, but look where you are going. You have so much more to give. Try not to give up yet. Like, stay in this situation for a while if you have to, but it doesn't have to be your final destination. And I think that is what is most important. Your support system, and a support system that understand who you are and understand that at points you get frustrated, and so they're willing to help wherever necessary.
Awesome. You're answering the questions, man. That's something that we want the viewers to know. So at the end of purpose, the destination is death. But your situation, the odd that you're going through, that is not your destination. So we want persons to know that. And how important is faith in navigating this process, in rising above the odds?
You need faith for everything. It don't matter what it is that you're going through. I came across a quote recently the other day. So this is me giving away a little bit about where I am now in life. So I came across a quote the other day that says that don't use doubt to dig up the seeds of faith that you have planted. And it struck with me because I am now doing my master's. I'm in the US and I'm now doing my master's. And it took a lot. Thank you. It took a lot of work to get here, but now being here, I'm getting frustrated because it is not what I expected it to be. And things are a lot more different than what I had hoped. And so I was having doubts about whether or not the situation was ideal or whether or not I would be able to make it through. And then I saw that quote and I was like, but you have been so good because you've planted your seeds, you have faith, you had patience in all this time. Why are you using doubt now, to dig up what you have planted? And so faith is important, but so is patience, because they both go hand in hand. And like you said earlier, faith without work is death. So you have to put in the work, you have to have faith, and you have to be patient that it will never be your timing. It is always going to be God's timing. It will never be yours. But just hold on a little bit longer, you'd be surprised what is at the end for you.
Wow, so many gems to unravel. But I want you to take us to your documentary, because that was a big thing and I must commend you on it. It took guts, it took galls, and overall it was good and it created awareness. So can you just walk our viewers and listeners to your documentary, what it was? It is behind it all, her journey, the Sanshegay project. So tell us a little bit about that.
So my documentary was done through a link I made with G. Ruben Pringle, who is the director, the photographer, and somewhat the videographer. Jik and I made a connection after I saw him do a story for Davian Tucker, and I reached out to him and I like, hey, I have a story. I think I'm at a point in my life where I'd like to share, but most importantly, I'd like to bring awareness to a certain condition. He did his research, he came back and he was open and willing. And then we started working on the project. The project took us a year and a couple months to put together. It was a lot of work. I did not expect it to be that much work, to be honest. It was a lot of work, but at the end, I was so proud of what we were able to accomplish because of that project, I had quite a few interviews and newspaper articles bringing awareness to osteogenesis imperfecta, which is a very rare condition, and it's not a lot is known about it. So to push it out there for people to see and understand that this is a very rare condition, it is also one of the deadliest, if you want to put it that way, because of the complication that comes with it. But you can live with it. It's something that you are able to live with. It just takes a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of time, and a lot of faith, and the best support system that you can possibly find out there.
Absolutely. And she was even on the Alric show. So for those who want to see those wonderful links, I'll share them in the description below this podcast. I know you said earlier that you're just being you. You're just doing what you know how to do. But at some point in time, do you see yourself either taking on some sort of project that will be taking on some level of responsibility for purpose, or a project that will support purpose and inspiring others in that capacity, or you just want to live as is and pray that persons will be inspired by the journey?
No, I actually do want to create a space. So for me, it's never about just living. Like I said, even though I am living and I'm doing the best I can with whatever I am given, I also want to make an impact in this world, and one way I want to do that is to create space for others to live their best life. So that is my ultimate goal. That is my purpose, to create space so others can live their best life. It is not always easy, it is not always the best, but for me, community is important, and I want to be able to provide someone with that community. And so my entire aim, my entire goal, no matter what I do, is always linked to nation building and youth development. Always. If what I'm doing isn't going to impact my space in that way, then I'm not going to be involved in it.
Wow, and that's awesome. And we ask our guests this question. So for someone who is trying to find their purpose, or perhaps they're on the journey, give them some advice.
First of all, you may not know what it is. So let's be truthful about that. A lot of us go through life not figuring out what our purpose is. But if you want to get a better understanding of what your purpose is, what you're supposed to be aligned to, then you're going to have to look within. You're going to have to find things that bring you joy, things that get you excited, and the reason that you want to get up every day. That is most important. So if you can find those three things, you will be surprised that your purpose and your alignment will fall into place effortlessly. And it takes if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. But if you're open-minded, and you feed yourself with positivity.
Tell them again, because the word says, if we seek it, we shall find it. So if you're not what?
If you're not looking, you won't find it. Mm-hmm. So you have to be open. You have to be willing to see what it is. But again, it is all about the mindset. Because if you have the wrong mindset, the purpose could be right there, and you will never notice it just because of the mindset that you have. So mindset, be open, be willing, accept who you are, and everything will fall into place. As hard as it sounds, it is actually true. But you have to accept and be willing to do the work and put in the work and do what is needed to get to that step. And one of that is accepting who you are for what you are and where you are.
Moral of the story, we have to do the work.
Do the work.
All right, so you are someone who's not just built on purpose and the odds and everything else, but you're also a businesswoman. Can you tell us a little bit about your businesses, as well as you have a podcast for yourself that's Wine Talk? So share with our viewers a little bit about that.
So my business is based around a hobby. Mm-hmm. And if you're gonna start a business, start one that is based around something that you like. Trust and believe, it won't be as much work as you think. So my business is based around a hobby, and my hobby is arts and craft. I'm a very creative person, and I try to express that in every way. And if you know me, you will know that is not a lie. And so I thought, why not use my hobby to create an income for myself? And it has done me wonderful. I mean, I'm currently on pause due to the fact that I decided to go take up myself for my going back at school.
Purpose, rising above the odds.
Right, me say, but Sanshegay was formed out of a hobby. I like arts and craft. I like playing with materials, and so most of my work is centered around arts, epoxy, and cement. I didn't even know cement was that versatile. Trust and believe.
But you were open and you explored and you found out.
Right. Again, that is just you being open-minded and the mindset that you have. And I was able to form a business, and it has done well for itself over the years. My podcast, Wine Talk, was, again, remember I said earlier that my purpose is to create space for individual. Wine Talk was formed because of that. It is a space for individuals to come in and share their story and tell us what it is that they're doing in life, where it is that they want to go, and how their life has impacted others. So Wine Talk will be coming back at the end of this year. So our first episodes drop next year, which I'm super excited about because we're coming brand new. Right. Yeah, we're coming brand new. We're coming with more excitement and more stuff. So I'm happy and I'm excited for where life has taken me.
Awesome, and that is wonderful. So before I let you go, so here on Soul Into Purpose, we sip tea. On Wine Talk, what will you be sipping in January?
Wine, strictly wine. Whether it be alcoholic or non-alcoholic, Wine Talk it is about alcohol or wine. Whether it's just you being, again, it is a space for you to be yourself, to be authentically you, and for you to share your story. So however you feel comfortable. But for me, it's wine, hence why it's Wine Talk. That's one of the things that I use to relax on a hard day, or just come down from a high. Like the other day when I finally figured how to get from my home to school in a different country on my own, I came home and I sipped a glass of wine. And I celebrated because I was such a wreck the morning trying to figure out how am I going to get to school.
Listen, we have to celebrate the wins, small or large, and that is also a part of the process because it helps us and encourages us to move forward. Wow. Yeah. We can talk on and on, but I just want to share the gems again. So faith without works is dead. You have to put in the work. You have to be open-minded. If you don't see purpose, then you won't find it. We're also talking about the odds. The odds is not your destination. It's a part of the journey on your way to purpose, right? So you must look at those challenges, move beyond them, and just encourage yourself. We also looked at the community, how important it is for you to have persons around you and for them to understand you so that they can give you that support, and how people will support you without you having to ask them, simply because they see that you wish to make a difference and a change. And if you want the rest of the gems and you want to share this with somebody, this is a powerful and inspirational story, and this is how we can rise above the odds. Miss Sanshegay Peart, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a wonderful time, and I trust that you enjoyed yourself. I learned a lot, and as always, I will go and watch it and watch it and watch it again, because these stories and this platforms such as this and yours, is how we help those around us to know that there is hope and you can always thrive and rise once you are willing and able to. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure being here. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. So that was an inspirational soul stories. If you want more stories like this, join us again next week, Wednesday, same time. Bye. That was a wonderful conversation, rising above the odds. And of course, you heard so many tips that you can utilize in your daily lives to help you rise above the challenges that you're currently experiencing. Thanks again, Miss Sanshegay Peart, for sharing with us. We thank you so much, and we pray that your story will continue to inspire others. Here on Sold Into Purpose, we're also extending the opportunity to you. If you are out there and you have a story that can reach the nations, we are open to having you here on the show. So if you wish to connect, please give us a call at 876-427-7067, or send us an email with your story at souledintopurpose@gmail.com. That is SOULED intopurpose@gmail.com. We are happy to hear from you and to share your story. So please feel free to connect with us. If you are out there and you're inspired by the vision, or you wish to share your products or services with others, please feel free to contact us right here on Sold Into Purpose Podcast at 876-427-7067, or send us an email to get your advertisement packages at souledintopurpose@gmail.com. That is SOULED intopurpose@gmail.com. We are happy to share this experience with you. I can't believe that we're at this part of the show already. And as always, we leave you with actionable steps that you can take to get sold into purpose. Today, we learned that faith without works is dead. If it is that you do not seek for your purpose, how will you find it? If you take the first step, others will see the initiative and join you. Also, it is important for you to surround yourself with people who understand your journey and who can give you that level of support on your journey to purpose. Remember, your odds are not your destination. It's simply a part of the process. Wow. So many insights to take from this one episode, but as always, we invite you to join us again and again and again every Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. sharp, as we get sold into purpose while we take a sip together. Thank you so much for watching us. Bye.